Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back. Hey, welcome to part 3 of our preparing everything for powder coating. Well, guess what? We got most of our powder coating back. We're going to start putting things together, give you an idea what it looks like. Here's the brake arm. He did a great job. This is the cover for it, but he did a phenomenal job. That person being Johnny from JRD Restorations, and I tell you, his work is just top notch. And when you get your stuff back for powder coating, you want to always, I'm going to say it again, always inspect it. You know, nothing against Johnny or anything like that, but you know, sometimes mistakes happen. Luckily, there were none, and so I can continue on and do everything that I can. So for this video, we're going to do as much as we can right now, because I got some bolts being painted, because my experience is if you powder coat the head bolts, they always chip and crack when you go to torque them, but for some reason paint primer doesn't. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to work on the top transmission cover, the side transmission cover, the cam cover, the tappet block covers, and then we're going to go into the fender struts and the front and rear turn signals, and then that should be it for this video. Maybe we'll do the exhaust. I got the exhaust parts back. Give you a count. We have about 80 parts that went out for powder coat, and 6 parts that went out for ceramic coat. Now the ceramic coating is for the exhaust, for the heat shields and the mufflers, because if you powder coat them, they're just going to blister, and that's it. All right, so let's dig into it, and we'll take a look and see what's going on. And always, guys, remember, whenever you pull something off that has a gasket, replace that gasket. So let's get to work. Okay, remove the rag off our trans cover. I do have a nice new gasket here that goes on. And we're going to grab our nice new freshly potted transmission cover. I think that looks better than the black. I also have the starter cover too. But we have all the bolts. I put them all in a baggie. And there are 2 different ones, the longer ones. That's for the side transmission cover. And these are 3/16. So I want to put a little Loctite on all of these. And we are going to, you know, put them in and torque them to 90 inch-pounds. Something like this, you don't want to go to the middle of the realm. You want to always go, you know, to the minimum. And then once that's torqued to the minimum, then we will step it up to the middle range. It's 90 to 120 inch-pounds. That's all these 3/16 bolts that need go to 90 to 100 inch-pounds. So, you know, half of that is, is 15. So after I go to 90 inch-pounds, I'm going to go right to 105 inch-pounds. And this should be done. I had a hard time finding the hole. Giggity. That's what she said. So, hey guys, if you haven't done so already, go ahead. Please give me a like and subscribe, and follow my channel. You know, hit that bell notification. You know, this way you get notified every time I upload a video, because my videos are, I feel, are full of good information that will help you, get these projects done yourself at home. And if you're still uncomfortable with that, you know, you can always reach out to me. I've gotten a few emails lately. Thank you everybody for those emails, asking me questions about projects you're working on. They sound like some exciting projects, and I wish you guys all the luck in the world in getting these done. All right, so I'm gonna pause this, tighten these up, and we'll get back at it. Okay guys, we've got our covers on. I think they look phenomenal. I think they look great. These bolts, however, don't look so great. But don't worry, we have a kit coming from Cero 3D. They're the bolt covers. They're plastic. They won't melt. Trust me on that. They won't melt. But right now I'm going to move right onto the brake arm. And why am I moving on to the brake arm? Because I think it's important for you guys to see what's going on here and what we need to do. So let me reposition the camera and we'll get it going. All right, guys. So one of the things you want to do is you want to put some grease around here. What that does, it helps, you know, with the brake movement and doesn't wear out your parts as much. But you don't need a lot. All you need is a real thin layer. So don't be afraid to, you know, get it on your hands. So we take our brake arm, which is freshly powder coated, and our inner pieces here, which are being a little difficult at this point, but we'll get it. Why? I don't understand why they're being so difficult. So let's try putting this on. All right, we're going to see why this is hanging up on us. All right, guys, get back to you. Okay, I did get them on, and you can see that they're on. Now I'm going to go back for the brake pedal. And you got to be mindful, there's an O-ring on the inside, then there's an O-ring that goes on the outside of this. And this here will ride basically right there. You'll put your O-ring in, that keeps the grease in. Now I grease both sides of that bushing that's in there. And why am I doing this now? Because it's much easier to put our pin in right here with the little washer and then the cotter pin. So, you know, like I always say, stay organized. It's a good thing I labeled all the bags and everything. So I knew, you know, hey, I'm going to do this part, I'm going to do this part. Let me grab these bags that have all the hardware for everything that I need. And I wasn't guessing, does this go here, does that go there? No, I was actually staying organized like I always preach. And, you know, I want you guys to do the same when you work on your own projects. Stay organized. You'll save yourself a lot of time and a lot of money when it comes down to, you know, hardware. You don't lose it. And you don't guess which goes where. You'll actually know. And, you know, I'm going to quote the old G.I. Joe, knowing is half the battle. I know, guys. Kind of a geek that way, but whatever. All right, so we got our cotter pin through. Now we're going to bend it. Okay. And this is a 9/16. So let me grab that. Or is it 5/8? I think it's 5/8. Yeah. Yep, 5/8. See, it comes back nicely on its own, and our bolt is tight. All right. We do have the pad and the surround, so let's get that on there. Then we could take this off our list. And that's a 9/6 1/2" nut on the back of this brake pad. All right, 1/2". All right, you don't need a lot of torque on this. It is a ratcheting wrench. I like to, these are adjustable in and out a little bit. I like to pull them out just to here when I put them on. All right. Look at that. Now for the fun part. We'll get our cam cover going. Da 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 da. All right, and we need to grab the gasket, which I have them here. They're from Comtech. To me, they're one of the best gasket companies out there to get gaskets from, and I challenge anybody to prove me wrong. Let's move this up so you get a better view of what I'm working on. All right, let me get this going and we'll continue on. Okay, I got our gasket that goes on in here like this, nice and new and fresh. We're going to check our mating surface, mating, and they did a really job of cleaning this, you know, taping this off. There's a couple rough spots that I'm going to clean up, but I'm going to use a razor blade because it's got a little overspray of powder coat, and a razor blade will take care of that. You don't need to get a grinder out or anything like that. And that's perfect now. All right, so now that that's set, take out our bolts. All right, here we go. Now what I like to do is I like to get two started by hand with the gasket. This way I know the gasket is lined up. And we're going to put some Loctite on these. And the first two that I put in, we will definitely go back, take those out, and Loctite them. Now, like everything else, start them by hand. Do not, you know, force them in with any sort of screw gun, drill, impact driver. You can use that stuff after you start them by hand, but be careful because you can over torque these, because remember, they are only, you know, it's 90 to 120 inch-pounds. And let me get my 3/16. There is a torque sequence for this, and I'm going to have to look it up in the book what it is. And then I will definitely get back to you on that. Now that I got two in there, I'm going to take my original two out, and I'm going to throw some blue Loctite on them. I think that looks a lot better. Yeah, I know, guys, remember we talked about this guy's going to wait on the air cleaner because he's going to do something different? Well, he changed his mind, so we're sending that out for black powder coat as well. I do have the 18 Street Glide. Oh, I have people showing up. So let me stop this. We'll get back to you. All right, guys. Now we got our cam cover on, transmission covers. Now we're going to go to our tappet blocks. And what are those? Those are where your lifters are. And we're going to do our front and back. Now, there is a right way and a wrong way to put these on. There is a front and back. And the same thing with the gaskets. If you look here at these gaskets, you got these two fingers. What you want is these two fingers to go over the anti-rotation bar, which is in front of your lifters. So we're going to take that, put that there. And the same thing with the back. We have our fingers that go over the anti-rotation bar. And then our tappet block that goes on here like that. Now, again, these are 3/16, so they are 90 to 120 inch-pounds. And I'm going to get our screws out. And there's 8 of them. All right, I'm going to, making sure that, the gasket is in there properly, because you can't put these gaskets in backwards where those fingers actually cover your lifters. And if you do that, that's not a good idea. I cut myself and I'm bleeding all over the place. No worries, I'll live. And like I said, 90 to 100 inch-pounds. And once these are on and torqued, then we'll just move on, and I'll get the derby cover on. We'll fill up the primary with the derby cover, and that'll be it for tonight. It's over there now. And then we'll pick up, tomorrow. Actually, I'll probably keep working in here tonight, and we'll do some more recording because it's still kind of early, and I still have other stuff to do. All right, so let me get these tight, and yes, I do have to put Loctite on them, but I have them in here just to hold them in place. But I will Loctite these, and I will torque them down, and we'll get it all done. All right, everybody, this is where we are. I got the cam cover on and torqued. I got the tappet blocks on and torqued. I got the top and side transmission cover on and torqued, and I got the head pipe on and torqued with the O2 sensors plugged back in. And I got the left fender strut on. So, continuing on, I'm going to put the right fender strut on, and it's kind of tricky in here because you have to get the back lined up with the back support and everything. So I have all of our bolts here that we need, and you got two short ones and then a long one. The long one goes right here in the center of everything, and I always suggest starting off with that, because with that you can find the center of where this needs to be. Also, we have the bolts that we need to install the quick disconnect dock. Okay, that one's in. It took a little bit, but I got it. So that's important. So we're going to take our quick disconnect dock, and remember that the long part of the dock, the stud, goes towards the front. So we'll put that in there. We're going to grab our socket, which is a T40, and we're going to start lining these up. And once we have all these started by hand, we're going to, run them in nice and tight. And, that'll be, and then that'll be it for, the fender struts. Well, we got these three. We got one up here, and then the two in the bottom down here. So, while we're working on that, this is for the oh shit strap, or I'm sorry, oh shoot strap, I should say. So there we go. That one's started. So now we're going to start with our T40, and now take this bolt, which is a 10 millimeter, which I have, and I can't seem to locate where I put my 10 millimeter. Oh, right here, right where I left it. We'll tighten that up. Now we'll go over everything with the ratchet to make sure they're nice and tight. That one's nice and tight. The T40, that one's nice and tight. That one's nice and tight. And that's nice and tight. Okay, now we're going to go with the docking hardware here. Let me get this up here a little bit. The docking hardware here, there's a thin end and a fat end. I always put the fat ends out. There's a spacer, and then fat end out. And those are a T27. You could put Loctite on these if you want. I don't. And then we'll go over that with the ratchet again, just to make sure they're nice and tight. And the last thing we've got to put on here before we get down to the bottom, or the bag support bolts to this, is the snap, or the connectors for your bags. So we're just going to push those things back on, and they'll snap right into place. Now be careful that you don't separate these or break these, because if you do, you're just going to go buy a new set, or you can upgrade them at this point in time. Okay, so now I'm going to line up down here. All right, and sometimes you just got to bang it around to get things lined up. And I have a long punch to help with that. And you're going to need a T40 and a 9/16 for the outside one, and a T40 and a 1/2 inch wrench for the shorter inside one. Now you just got to make sure that when you put the short one in, that it catches the fender support bracket that goes around the fender. I got to line this up a little bit better. That looks almost there. Yes, it is. All right. So let me get these this camera repositioned so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, I always start on the outside here. As I put the nut, you know, the bolt's always going to direction of travel. Again, that's an Army aviation thing for me. I believe, and you know, if the nut comes off, at least the bolt, the wind will help keep the bolt in. That's something that comes from my old Army days, but that's all right. And once we got all this on, we could actually start to do our mufflers. And then once the mufflers are on, and we line them up left to right, then we could put the heat shields on for the exhaust. And the bottom end of this bike is almost done. I got other stuff that I got to wait to get to powder coat, because I'm waiting on tank badges, so we can match that color, the tank badge, to different parts of the bike, like the lower rocker box covers, the collars for the push rod tubes, just to give it a nice accent color, and the caliper screens. So, you know, Johnny will probably turn those around pretty quick for me, hopefully. So there you go. Your fender struts are done. Now we're just going to get the mufflers on. I'm going to do that without you guys and the heat shields, because I don't think you need to see that. It's pretty self-explanatory. Same thing with this, but I wanted you guys to be aware of a few things. I'll bring the camera around so you could see. It's your wiring harness that's inside of here. You want to make sure you get these clips right. Yes, this is hanging, and that's hanging because we're going to put the antenna hidden, and I'm going to show you guys how to do that. This way it doesn't stick out the back and it looks like a remote controlled motorcycle. All right.
Like and subscribe to Dr. Harley.